Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a vegan version of a very popular Pakistani dish which is called Haleem. Now this is usually made with meat. You can use chicken or people use beef, but I'm going to be making a completely vegan version of this one using a meat substitute, which I'll show you. So what I'm using is this particular packet. It's called Easy Cook Haleem Mix by the company Shan. It actually has the steps of cooking right here. I'm actually not following these exact steps. I'm doing it a little bit differently. And I'm also going to be adding a little bit of extra spices because I do like my dish spicy, but you can skip over that one if you would like a little more mild version of it. So it tells you here exactly everything that's needed. So you need this mix, of course. It makes it really easy. But other than that, you need onion. It asks for meat, so I've got a meat substitute and oil. So here it says 1 cup of oil. I am not going to be using 1 cup of oil, and it says just half a medium onion. I've actually cut 2 onions because I like more onions in my Haleem. So let's go ahead and start cooking. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and fry some of the onions, or actually all of the onions that we have. So I'm going to start with just putting oil in my thing here, and I'll wait for it to warm up. So I'm going to start by frying the onions, and then I've got some grated ginger and garlic here. So a ginger and garlic paste. I use more garlic than I use ginger because ginger is it's stronger. So we don't want to overpower the taste. So I just used a small piece of ginger and about 2 big cloves of garlic. You can use 3 if they're like medium sized. And so I'm going to add that for a little bit more flavor. So my oil is warm. I'm going to go ahead and put in all of my onions. Okay, so now you can see that the onions have become a bit brown. So I've fried them for about 5 minutes or so, but you can fry them until you see the browning. We'll go ahead and put our ginger garlic paste that we had. And I'm going to just let the paste cook with the onions for about a minute or so. Okay, so now that we have cooked the ginger garlic paste, we're going to go ahead and put in our meat substitute. So what I did was I used this one. It's called chicken strips. It's like a chicken imitation. And so what you would usually do when making Haleem is, if you're using actual chicken, you would just go ahead and put water and boil the chicken. Then you would remove the chicken and shred it. So since this is already pre-made, I'm going to skip the boiling part of it, and I just went ahead and shredded it using a blender. So I'll go ahead and put this in here now. And mix it together. Okay, so this is when you're going to use one of the packets from your Shan Haleem mix. So the Shan Haleem mix actually has 2 packets inside of it. One of it is this, which has all of your masalas, and then we have this, which I'll come to later. So you want to use the smaller one, which is the masala packet. So I'll go ahead and add that to this now. And you want to use all of it. We're going to use all of the contents of both packets. So the packet that we were using, if you look at the instructions, it tells you to use 15 cups of water. I'm still going to use 15 cups of water, but I'm going to break it down into different times instead of putting it all at once. So instead of putting all 15 cups right now, I'm just going to put 7 cups right now, and then I will put 4 cups later on, as you will see, and then in the end I will add another 4 to equal up to a total of 15. So here is my 7 cups of water. And I want to break down these chunks that have formed in my meat substitute that I'm using. I'm just going to cover this up and let it come to a boil and cook for about 10 minutes. So while that is happening, we will go ahead and prepare the rest of our stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this, and like I said, I'll go ahead and add another 4 cups of water at this time. So I'll actually mix this in 4 cups of water and keep it aside while this is cooking for 10 minutes so that we can have this ready. So Haleem is actually made of a mixture of the meat, lentils, and wheat. So it's actually a really good way to get, you know, all sorts of proteins and vitamins and lots of iron. So if you look at the ingredients here, this is actually a mix of wheat and barley. It has a lot of lentils, like red lentils. It has mung beans. So if you wanted to make this without using this packet, you would need to get all of those things separately and then make a powder. So that's why I prefer to use this, so I don't have to go out and buy all of those things, and then also don't have to waste time making it into a powder. This is already powdered here. So I'll go ahead and mix this in with 4 cups of water and keep that aside while this is boiling. So here I have my 4 cups of water, and I have emptied my whole packet of the lentil powder in there as well. And the reason I like to do this separately instead of just starting with 15 cups of water in my cooking vessel is so that, you know, in this step I can make sure that I remove any little lumps that can form. So you want to just mix it really well in the water and avoid forming any little blobs so that the dish can cook evenly. Okay, so now it's been 10 minutes that our chicken substitute that we're using is just boiling in with the onions and the water and the masalas that we put in there. So this causes it to just get like a good taste of the masalas. Now, most of it is already like shredded, but if you find any big clumps, you can just kind of break it up if you want to do that. Or if not, that's fine as well. You'll just get like little bite-sized pieces with your Haleem. That's okay. I think that this is good. I don't see anything that I need to break up any further. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in this that we had kept aside. Found one. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and mix it really well. Okay, so Haleem actually takes a long time to make. So it actually, we're going to keep this on the stove for about an hour. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just add a little bit more masala, because like I said earlier, I do like it to be a little more spicy than the spices that are already in the masala packet. So just a tiny bit. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit of turmeric powder. A little bit of red chili powder as well, and coriander powder. I actually have a mixture of cumin and coriander powder, so I'll just put that. Then you just want to mix everything together real well. So this is just going to add a little bit of extra spices all around. Earlier we had added some ginger and garlic. So all of these things are actually already in the masala packet that we use. So if you don't like, you know, too like spicy food, then you can just stick with the masala packet and not put anything additional at all. So you actually don't have to do that. But I like to add a little bit in there. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it really well. Okay, so once everything is mixed and there's no clumps of all of the lentil powders and stuff we put in there, we're going to go ahead and put in the rest of the water. So then everything is just going to cook for about an hour on the stovetop after that. So I'm going to add another 4 cups of water to this mixture. Okay, so here is my last bit of water here, which is an additional 4 cups. And that's going to equal up to the 15 cups that were recommended in the recipe that comes on the back of the packet here. Last time I had done about 13 cups, and because I felt like it was too thin, but at the time when it was cooking, I felt like it was thin, but by the next day it had really absorbed the water. So, you know, I realized that it actually needs the 15 cups completely. But depending on the consistency that you like or that you're used to eating, you can make it according to that. So right now it's very soupy, as you can see, but now this is going to cook for an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cover after I mix it well. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover back on here and put it down to a medium flame and keep it for 1 hour. Now, the main part of this dish is the toppings. So as you can see here, this is just a few amount of toppings. I like to use a lot more than this. So we're going to go ahead and have all of our toppings ready so that when this is ready to eat, we can put our toppings on there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my toppings and garnishing ready. I actually used a total of 6 toppings for my Haleem. It's one of the reasons why I really love this dish. The toppings really bring out the flavor, so these are very important. So the total of 6 toppings that I have, I'm going to show you now. The first is a bottle of chaat masala that I have, and so I've got chaat masala powder, mint, coriander, lemon. Here we have some ginger and fried onions. So we don't need to do anything to the fried onions because they're already cut. And we don't have to do anything for this as well, the chaat masala. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the coriander and the mint really small. And I'm actually going to cut some extra and go ahead and put it in our pot to really integrate some of those flavors in there as well. You can also put a little bit of lemon juice in there as well, if you have some extra, or if you have like a bottle of lemon juice, that's fine as well. So otherwise you will just go ahead and cut this to sprinkle on the top when you're serving it. And then you want to cut this into really, really thin like slices. So I'll go ahead and cut everything and then show you. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes since this has been cooking. So I'm just going to mix it up, and like I said, I'm going to put some of my coriander and mint leaves. And I'm just going to let that cook with the dish, and I'm also going to cut some extra for the garnishing.
Your hand is too close.
Okay, so now our Haleem is done. I ended up actually cooking it for an hour and a half. It is a little bit thinner than the consistency that I usually like. However, I did that on purpose this time because this is enough for 6 servings and we're only 2 people, so we're gonna have leftover. So when you have leftover Haleem, usually the second day, it gets a lot thicker. So that's why I purposely made it a little bit thin today so that it'll be perfect tomorrow. I actually prefer Haleem better on the second day because it gets really nice, like with the masalas. It makes it a lot more spicy, so I actually prefer it the second day, but we'll go ahead and have some today. Let's go ahead and take it out. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier, I do love this dish because of its garnishing. So I have all the garnishing here. This is a mixture of coriander and mint. I have some ginger that I've cut into small pieces. And then my favorite, fried onions. And then we're just gonna top it off with some lemon juice. So squeeze that in there, and it is ready to eat.